Vertical Football, and this is the 5 things we learned. Yeah, Chelsea 3, Cardiff 1. Yeah, this is another London derby, and we have won. Overall performance, I believe we were below average. Yeah, we were very, very ordinary. We were not convincing at all. Yeah. In the creative aspect of the game, I believe we were way behind. Yeah, we were very, very much behind. We didn't get attacking moments if they did not commit an error. Majority of our attack came when Cardiff committed an error. So out of open play, out of creating by your own self, I think we didn't create really much in this particular match. We were just, majority of the time, it was just all passes and no creativity. I believe there were things that happened in the match that I felt like shouldn't happen, most especially the Cardiff goal. The positive, I believe the changes made the difference in the match. Yeah, and there are a whole lot of things to look at in this particular match. There are a whole lot, but if we pack those whole lot, I think we are going to have more negatives than the positives in this match. There are some positive, like we won the ball in the middle of the park, in the middle of the pitch. Majority of the time when the ball gets into those zones, we were winning them. Those were one of the things that I felt like, okay, we did right. And the substitution, when it came on, we switched on, take the game to the second level, and we just maintained that level like it went on. But in the first half, I feel like we were way behind. So let's just jump right into it. Let's talk about the 5 things we learned in this particular match. I think the first thing for me is it's just all passes and zero creativity. That's the best way I'll put it. We played more passes, and out of playing these passes, we were just lost in playing them, that we didn't even remember to create anything. Yeah, and you look at the first 30 minutes of this particular match, and the only thing that this thing can bring you back to, the nostalgia of this first 30 minutes, is just remembering the time of Graham Potter, where all we did was just kick the ball around, and didn't necessarily create anything out of it. I think the chances that we had in the first half was just out of misplaced passes from the Cardiff player. Coming into the second half, I think we grew a little bit better, but in the creative sense of it, we still did not create that much. The only time we get some creativity was Pedro Neto coming in, Garnacho most especially, João Pedro, the link-up play, the hold-up play, all of those things. We started to like show a glimpse of creativity. But overall, I think the creative level in this particular match was bad. And the second thing I want to talk about is, I feel like we're getting to a point where we can't play football on the go anymore. Yeah, and what do I mean by we can't play football on the go anymore is Chelsea has gotten to a point where whenever we get the ball, we always want to get into the reset mode, then reboot and play football. So we don't get the ball and find out, oh, these guys just lost the ball to us and they are in our own face. Instead of we keeping the ball here and try to recycle it so that they can go back into their play, why not just move the ball in a consistent flow, and as soon as you are getting it, string passes and just set it into the right moment and the ball just keep going. I feel like we in this particular match, let me just stick to this particular match. It was very poor. At every moment when we got the ball back, the first orientation was to reverse it back to the post and then go and start again, giving the Cardiff boys the opportunity to go back and go and take their shape there. And it's not like when, it's a different thing when you get the ball and okay, I can create something out of this. It's a very different story. But when you get the ball and all that you can do is just keep on passing it around with nothing being created, I feel like it just does not make so much sense. It does not make so much sense. And the only person I think gave us a glimpse of we playing football on the go was Garnacho. Every time he got on the ball, you can see him moving the ball towards them and trying to go and do something with it. And Pedro Neto sometimes did something like that too. But before the arrival of these two guys on the pitch, it was just more of when we got the ball, we just want to send it back to the back line and just keep on passing around till we It's just based on hope. Let's hope that something will come out of this. So I think it's a very bad space. That's not the level we want to be in this club. We don't that kind of mindset. If you play against a very quality opponent, you will get beaten. You will get beaten. So let's go into the third thing. I think the third thing for me is the changes actually made the difference. Yeah, I think the changes made the difference in this particular match. First half, like we all said, we were very sloppy. Cardiff was the better side. They had more control of the ball. They didn't necessarily had any quality chance, but they were more in charge of the ball. They were trying to get something. They didn't get something out of it, but they were trying to get something. Then coming into the second half, the first set of changes from Pedronet, what's his name? Garnacho and João Pedro, it just changed the dynamics of the game. So we can actually progress the ball into the final third with the hope and the belief that the guys that are coming in, that just came into the match, can do something. And eventually they went on to do something with the ball. 12 minutes after Garnacho came into the match, he got the goal. So I believe it was good changes. And even the Pedro Neto and Malo Gusto changes really affected the game. They coming in just added some different spice into it. So we were more playing the ball around with the aim that, there is somebody up front that can do something with the ball. So I think I really liked the changes. I was impressed by that. So let's talk about the fourth thing. I think the fourth thing for me is the Cardiff goal. I think the Cardiff goal, this is not the first time that this is happening in the club. Yeah, I would say. We saw that in what was that match? The Atalanta match in the Champions League, where one of our players is trailing a particular player, and then all of a sudden just stops trailing that person until the person goes on to put the ball at the back of the net. We saw it at that point in time. It was Liam Delap trailing that guy, and he just followed, and all of a sudden he stopped, and the guy just still continued his run and put it at the back of the net. In this same match too, it is also the same thing. And I feel like I want to put that one even in two different viewpoints. The first one is the space between Tosin and the guy that is on his left. I feel like that space was too much. I know it was Achimpong, Tosin, Gusto, but before Gusto was the one trailing that guy. He didn't track him properly. So the guy was able to get into that place. But the space that was between Tosin and the guy next to the left-hand side, who was not Malo Gusto, I believe that space was too much. That was poor defending, I would say. That was poor defending. And this is not me being all caught up they can score. Mistakes can happen. But that's too much of that's too big of a mistake. I don't think that was a mistake. I feel like that was switching off. That was slipping or something in that light. The gap was too much. And the guy, Gusto trailing that guy, I believed he was standing there believing this other guy will pick him up. I think it's a communication thing between the two of them. They just need to share. They need to share the blame, I believe. The cross was coming in. You are seeing this guy. That's the problem I had with Tosin in that particular point in time. You were seeing this guy. He's moving into that space. Then what next? Track him and go and block the cross. Or even if you are not even blocking the guy, block the ball coming. But all they were doing was they were standing on the line as if they were picking an offside. Meanwhile, there was nobody there. And the person who is coming, that you can see that this one is coming, you are not stopping him. You are not marking him. I think there's an issue with that particular goal, and I'll just stop there. So let's talk about the last thing. I think the last thing for me was the execution. Yeah, our execution today all round was poor. Was very, very poor. And I would like to start from the goalkeeper. I saw situations where we had a plan. Or let me say we created a plan out of the plan that Cardiff was using, out of the plan Cardiff was executing, in the sense that they were pressing us passively. It was front foot, but they were not coming charging into us. They were just making sure they block that space and pressing us in a 4-1-4-1. Sometimes they can shift it into a 4-4-2, but they were pressing us in a 4-1-4-1. And the idea was, they stood in the front. We also were standing but we were making and they were staying on a high line. So we wanted them to lose their guard, and the keeper sent the ball into the wingers. But majority of the time that he sent that ball, it was just poor execution. I feel like they understood the idea, but the execution was most of the time it was bad. You want to give ball, you want to give a pass from the goal post to the guy in the wing part. I feel like because you are seeing the space which these guys are keeping something close to an eye line, you need to make the pass very straight instead of going up. That's going to give them chance because you have to fight 50-50. But in that space, you're looking at Jamie Gittins who want to run into that space. You're looking at Garnacho in the second half who wants to run into that space. The pass needs to be like, he has to like a thin line instead of just going more like a curve. So I feel like the execution from the goalkeeper today was not it at all. Yeah, and from the wingers also, aside Pedro Neto, Jamie Gittins, I think Pedro Neto, Garnacho, I think Tyree George and Jamie Gittins, their 1v1 today was nowhere around the level that we are expecting from the guys that we think should be in this wing part for the club. I think their levels were really, really poor today. They are 1v1. The way the final execution, most especially Tyreek George, didn't really play so much. But majority of the time he got the ball, it was more like he was playing in his own world. Whenever he got the ball, he just does what is on his mind. Instead of thinking of what will benefit the team, he just put a cross and nobody's there. Put a square play and nobody's there. Like, dude, what the hell are you doing? And you want to know how bad our execution. I was watching it and I was speaking to myself like, you want to know how bad our execution was in this particular match. You know that Chelsea, if you watch that ball intently, you find out we had a corner routine in this match. But you cannot necessarily understand what the corner routine is because there is going to be one person who will either play a misplaced pass and the sequence just break and you don't know what's going to be the next thing that will happen. So you don't get to the end of the corner routine. That's how bad we were with our execution today. We played that corner routine. We played it a whole lot of time, dropped the first ball. The player passes it to somebody standing there, then he gives it back and he's trying to play it into the half space. That's where we always made mistake. And then you just ask yourself like, if that has gone through, then what would have been the next step? But we didn't get to see any next step because somebody will always spoil it with a bad pass. Though we got the win, I think I'm very happy that we have advanced into another semi-final. There's a chance to like move into the final, and these are the things we want when you get into competition. Try your possible best and go on to win it. That's the aim of the club. But the performance, I think that performance, it wasn't it at all. And I can sit here 1 hour and just keep saying all of the things that I believe did not really go well in that particular match. Yeah, because it was not the best of match, if we are being honest with ourselves. It was not the best of match. But I feel like we had some positive also. Moises Caicedo in the midfield, he controlled that space very well. His recovery was superb. The way whenever the ball comes into that space, most of the time we tend to win every duels that happen there, both aerially, both ground duels. We tend to I feel like in the center of the pitch, we did fine in this particular one. For Ato, I think it was pretty. He started really slow because his recovery was not that good in the beginning of the first half, but I think he grew into the game. But one thing that I didn't necessarily like in his game, probably because of the way we have seen Cucurella played in that wing, is too defensive oriented. Yeah, that's why I said it. I think on one of our show I said it. This guy, I don't know how realistic it is, but we need to have a system that accommodates him when he's on the pitch, in the sense that we will not necessarily attack so much on that his side. We will attack through that place, but it will not be our priority option because it will not give us the overload. It will not give us those underlapping run. It will not give us the pressing towards the front. He's too defensive oriented, and I think he needs to break that pattern if he wants to be that guy who can put up a fight with Cucurella. But in overall performance, I think he had a decent game. Yeah, so this is my 5 things, guy. I don't know what else you guys saw. Please put it in the comment section. Let's talk about it. And so we see you some other time. This is brought to you by Vertical Football. Please like, share, and subscribe to this channel. So we see you some other time. Namaste.